tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javanokelo, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Thank you so much for joining me for another incredible conversation here in the African Father in America podcast. Today, I'm really excited to be here with a wonderful guest, Tom Palladino, who is an humanitarian. He's also an holistic medical expert, and he's doing some incredible work with Scalar Energy, where he's a researcher. We are going to learn a lot about that today. And before we go further, I just want to welcome you all, and I want to start with our proverb for today, which is from Ethiopia, and it says that we've shared this proverb in the past, we've discussed it in the past. It says that the child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. The child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. Now, there are 3 nuggets of wisdom, as usual, related to this proverb that my team and I came up with that we want you to, note down somewhere, and hopefully it helps you in understanding what this proverb means. Number 1, take time to be attentive to the younger generation and give them a sense of belonging in their community. And then number 2, don't be so quick to judge others or to shut out those who are different from you. Number 3, find ways to connect with people who have not yet found the warmth they crave. So I just went through this quickly because I want to create more space for us to engage with our special guest today. But on the blog, on the African Father in America blog about today's conversation, you'll be able to read all the 3 nuggets of wisdom in detail. So without further ado, I want to just come quickly to you, Tom. I want you to share your own perspectives in regards to this proverb. When we sent it to you, what is it that came to your mind?
It's a profound proverb. I think you're right. We have to... The generation, especially the youth, must be embraced. And you have to understand their perspective. You have to walk in their shoes. You have to see the world through their eyes. I don't think it's easy today to be a youngster, to be a youth. And if we properly educate them and nurture them, they will get it. You can't judge. I have grandkids. It's going to be a long process. It's a process well worth the effort. Educate them, to give them an example. You have to spend quality time with people.
That's right. Wow, I appreciate that. I want you to, to just take a minute and talk about yourself for a second before we go into the actual first question of where I want you to share with us your own story of, what is it from your childhood, from when you're around 16, that inspires who you are today as a leader. First, I want to give you a good time to just talk about who you are more than what I said, because I introduced you as a holistic medical expert and Scalar Energy researcher and also an humanitarian based in Florida. But I want you to just speak a little more about yourself, and then after that, I want you to, I'll share a quick story, and then from there you can share with us a little more about what it is from your childhood that inspires the work that you do today.
Yeah, thank you. Let's start off with my foundation. I had very good parents. My mother and father were excellent parents. And I attribute so much to them today. If you are blessed with good parents, well, you should acknowledge that. I do. And that has helped me throughout life. And that set the foundation. So as a child, it really came down to my parents. I had very good teachers, coaches. I had good priests. I surrounded myself with a lot of people who were concerned about the community and concerned about the family. Family is always the building block of society. And I had a good family.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I have to, also as I begin sharing my own story of what really keeps me producing this podcast, what keeps me doing a lot of the work I do in the community with my nonprofit and media company. It's really family too, It's my mother. At the age of 8, she gave me a bicycle to distribute milk and bread in our community. I grew up in one of the biggest slums in Kenya. So the discipline from that is really what wakes me up in the morning and keeps me going today. And I love asking my guests the same question because I feel that all of us came from somewhere, and there is a story that informs how we behave today and how we do what we do today. So take us back to when you are a little boy, and really what happened during those years that has built you into someone who has spent over 30 years of your life researching on something that can actually transform humanity.
Yeah. Well, you're right. You had a mother who disciplined you and educated you and loved you, and likewise, I had a mother who disciplined, educated, and loved me. And you learn from those early lessons. They're so important. They're formative. Where I am today as a researcher all draws reference to where I came from as a youth. I had a great childhood. I'll speak for myself, and I think I had many privileges. That doesn't mean I was lazy, but growing up in the United States of America, there's many privileges here, whether people realize that or not. And I'm blessed. And I can't inculcate this enough. It's so important. The family is so important. The family is the building block of society. Within that family, there are so many benefits. Broken families do not realize the benefits that united families have. So we have to, we really have to thank those who've helped build the family, have built society. We have a beautiful role. And if we go back to the family, we go back to that concept, which the family is sacred, society will flourish.
I love that. It's simple but very profound. It's simple but very profound. If you're just joining us, my name is Simon Okello. I am the host of the African Father in America podcast, and we are live streaming on YouTube. If you are on YouTube, make sure you push the thumbs up button and you leave your comment below so that we know that you joined us for today's conversation. Share with us your own perspectives in regards to today's proverb and anything that our special guest shares that you also want to comment on. If you're on Clubhouse, where we are also live streaming, thank you so much. Make sure you share the link to the room with others who are joining us for the conversation today. Take your time and ping in 3 to 5 people so that we can grow the number of people who are here with us today. My special guest, as I said earlier, is Tom Palladino, who is an incredible human being. He's doing a lot of work. He's a holistic medical expert. He's a scalar energy researcher. I had to learn a little bit about scalar energy prior to this conversation because I just wanted to familiarize myself a little bit. And you're also an humanitarian, Tom. So I want you to talk to us about all these aspects of your life, but share with us, maybe what is it that makes you so proud? Because prior to us going live for today's conversation, you really surprised me by saying that you've researched for over 40 years on this work that you're doing. And we are living in an era of YouTube. We're actually live on YouTube, where somebody tells you they're an expert on something just because they spent 2 days on YouTube and Google, So we are living in interesting times, and it's difficult to find people who have spent their whole life researching, So talk to us really about the work that makes you proud in this moment.
I've interwoven many aspects of my life into my professional life, which is scalar energy research. So I'm a scientist. I work with scientific instruments. I'm able to achieve great advances with these instruments, but that all takes into consideration my Christian background, my humanitarian thrust, my humanitarian emphasis, my educational experiences. So, yes, I've researched this subject. It's really an esoteric subject right now. Scalar energy, what some people call quantum physics. And I have instruments that I've developed that control quantum energy. So it's very real. And the purpose of my research and the purpose of any research should be to benefit mankind, not to harm. So as a humanitarian, I want to help people. I want this invention, I want this technology to benefit people. And we'll explore that as we speak. We have the ability with scalar energy to help millions of people around the world in an inexpensive, safe fashion.
I want you to talk a little more. Let's say you are meeting a group of young people in Africa and you want to introduce scalar energy to them, and it's your last opportunity to be able to pass this on to a new community of people. Talk to us about the journey of, how you started this research. What was the biggest challenge that you faced in the course of, developing and inventing these instruments that you have, and really where you want to take it. You are also with your grandchildren in this moment, and you want them to understand the legacy of the work that you're doing. Share with us.
Yeah. If I had to leave a legacy, I would really want people to realize that this is of great benefit, and that this type of energy, this type of research is straightforward, and it's a very rewarding lifestyle. So if I were to leave this legacy to my grandchildren or anybody, I would want them first to be excited about this. I would want them really to have a sincere interest. And the only way I could do that is by educating them and showing them and demonstrating to them the benefits, and then how straightforward, how simple, how eloquent this is. Now, if we can impart in any walk of life the benefits to be derived, and how simple and straightforward. People don't like complexity. People like straight answers. They like simple answers. I like straightforward answers. And this is what this type of technology offers. Incredible benefits. It's very simple. It's straightforward, but it's poorly understood. So we have this conversation today to introduce to society, once again, quantum healing, quantum energy. It's poorly understood. It's very real. And we will demonstrate the benefits during our conversation. They're incredible benefits.
I would love for us to jump into some of the benefits of scalar energy, and this is stuff that I personally just hear about, and I want to have a deep understanding of it. So I think you should take space now and feel free to demonstrate. If you have some of your instruments with you, this is your moment.
Okay. So when I'm working with a scalar energy instrument, this is, first of all, it's not electricity. I have observed that this type of energy controls matter, physical matter, that we can either create a physical form or break apart a physical form. So this type of energy allows us to have mastery over matter, physical matter. Well, with these instruments that I've developed, it's for quantum healing now. I have the ability to create, to assemble a vitamin, a mineral, an antioxidant. And I don't do that through any physical means. I do that through instructions, through energy. So a scalar energy instrument can assemble a micronutrient. Today, I am receiving, as we speak, energy from a scalar energy instrument that is creating vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and amino acids in my body as we speak. So I can attribute for myself that I receive the necessary micronutrients that I need through energy, through light. That's not that I don't eat well, but nonetheless, I supplement my diet with scalar vitamins, with scalar nutrition, with scalar nutrients. So it's very exciting to me that we don't have to consume, so to speak, a protein shake. We don't have to consume something in order to provide nourishment. We can deliver nutrients by way of energy. Now, that's the easy way to develop a personal or a nationwide nutritional program. See, if I can do this with myself, then I can do this with 1 million people. And that's the benefits that I want to drive at. This invention is not meant for me. It's meant for society. This invention is going to change the way we live.
That's incredible. So what you're saying is that through light, you can receive some of these critical nutrients, some of these critical minerals that, for example, in Africa, this proverb that we're talking about is from Ethiopia. In Ethiopia, recently, there was a genocidal, war that was happening, and there were thousands of people that were starving because they didn't have the nutrients, the food that could nourish their bodies. So you're saying that even in war-torn zones, this is the kind of solution that can help people heal and live a healthy life.
That's correct. Yeah, that's profound. That's correct. Now, I'm going to make this very clear to your audience. When I'm working with these instruments, I work through a photograph. I'm going to hold my photograph up. I will actually take a photograph of a person. This is my photograph, and I'll place it inside an instrument, a scalar energy instrument. The scalar energy instrument will recognize me by my light, by my signature, and then send nutrients to me. So this is this new science, scalar science, in which we can provide nutrients through a photograph of a person. It's not a physical process, it's non-physical. And we're able to deliver these nutrients through the quantum field by way of energy.
Yeah, that is incredible. It really reminds me of many people call it black magic, but we have many people in Africa, that use similar processes to heal, to solve problems, to see things, and I'm really amazed that it's very similar to what you do. So what you do is really not new, but it's an ancient form of solution to many problems. And I think many people, as civilization modernized, many people actually didn't appreciate some of these natural forms of healing that our ancestors used to survive for generations. And my question to you is, how do you balance between being a Christian and using this kind of healing energy? Because in the African context, there is always a conflict. People who use this kind of energy are always isolated. They are not always, they're not recognized as doctors, But here you are, healing people and doing something that is much needed and making it accessible, by using just a photograph of someone. So talk to us about how you're managing. How is your family treating you? How are your friends treating you since you started doing this?
You're right. I am a Christian. And any time I research, I always follow the truth. If you're working with the laws of science, those laws of science are created and governed by God. So if you're working with the laws of science, it's true. There cannot be any deception with the law of science. And then it's how you apply the laws of science. Then that's a question of morality. Well, I have no chagrin with what I'm doing. I'm a scientist. I follow the laws of science. I've developed scientific instruments. But then the key is, what are you going to do with that technology? How will you take that technology and how will you improve the world? Well, by working through people's photographs, either one person at a time or many people by way of a photograph, we're able to deliver nutrients, as I said. We're also able to pinpoint on a photograph, say, a virus or a bacterium, and destroy that virus or bacterium. So this is not a new concept, but sadly, especially here in the Western world, it's a new and emerging science. This must be studied. There are valid scientific principles that undergird this science. And what many cultures knew intuitively or through prayer, etc., we are now discovering through instrumentation. So my scientific instruments are proving what cultures knew for centuries.
Yeah, it's amazing if I told you that there are people that if somebody stole your cow, they would tell you who that person is. They would use instrumentations, and some people call it charms and whatever it is. There are some form of instrumentation, and they would do something to bring back the thief together with the cows to your home where the theft happened. It's just incredible that the world is going where it's going because go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're absolutely right. Yes.
For me, I'm amazed that I'm able to engage with someone who is doing this because I feel that for the world to get to a place where everybody is taken care of, and there is more access to healthcare, there is more access to resources, solutions, different kinds of solutions will have to be embraced, and I'm really excited about this. But I feel that there are a few of our audience members who are also excited to just make comments and also share their perspectives on our conversation today. So I want to create space for a few people to just share their comments on our conversation and also their thoughts on the proverb. And then I'll ask you to reflect on their comments. And after that, I want you to prepare to share with us how we can stay connected with you, how we can actually experience what you do and receive some of the benefits. And I also want you to let us know how we can stay connected with you. First, I'll start with you, Cabs. Just quickly introduce yourself, where you are joining us from, and share your perspectives on the proverb and also on this conversation with Tom Palladino.
Oh, thank you so much. This has been such an interesting conversation. My name is Cabs. I'm in Missouri, in the real estate business. Also interested in building out ecosystems for underserved, entrepreneurship ecosystems for underserved entrepreneurs. I have a question for you, Tom. I've never heard of scalar energy. Did you build these instruments? Is it an invention of yours, or what's the history of this? Thank you.
It's an invention. I studied two great scalar energy experts, Nikola Tesla and Galen Hieronymus. Hieronymus was an American inventor. I met his wife. I never met him. He was deceased at the time. And back in the 90s, I was able to purchase scalar energy instruments. So these are scientific instruments. In many ways, I've copied Dr. Hieronymus, his instruments. So I continue on with his legacy. You're right. It is profound. Most people have never heard of this because it's such a narrow field sadly, it's poorly understood. But what do I have to offer to the world? With these scientific instruments, I can control the laws of science. And those laws of science allow me to either create a nutrient or break apart a virus or bacterium. So I can assemble what's beneficial. I can break apart what's harmful.
Wonderful. Thank you. Go ahead, Cabs.
Yeah, just one thing I would like to say, Simon. I think, as you're saying, some of these healing techniques already existed in a lot of the different tribes in Africa. It would be interesting to hear the perspective from that side and see how it works there and how, the scalar energy, the connections or the differences. That would be fascinating. Thank you so much for answering the question, Tom.
Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Let's move on to Brother Earth. Brother Earth, how are you doing? Thank you for all your support. Share with us your perspective on this proverb and also the conversation we're having with our special guest today.
Peace and love, family. This Brother Earth. I'm coming from the North Carolina territory. And Simon, you know, honors to you in the village. Greetings to you in the village as well. And it's a very interesting conversation you and the guy were having. I end up missing some of the conversation. I got a phone call, but what I was able to take from it, and this is just my understanding, that in mankind quest to be or to have a full understanding of God. Science was created to, measure all God's wonders. And I was trying to picture what he was talking about because, like I said, I came in on the conversation late, and until he pulled out the picture and explained how certain things happen through the picture, and when he said that, it instantly made me reflect back about back in the day, growing up in the country, they used to call them root doctors, and the root doctors could take a picture and oftentimes, like you said, get one from not going to jail, or if somebody did something bad to you, oftentimes it was used to hurt opposed to help. From whenever I heard about it, and for him to say that he has tools and inventions to be able to measure or allow these things to be more tangible, because oftentimes things that can't be seen or explained is often cast out the window, but to have tools to show and prove that these phenomena do really exist is very important and could be very helpful and beneficial to all of humanity. And as far as the proverb, what I'll say is, growing up, what I had to learn and remember, or as dealing with coming to different people, I had to realize, everybody not raised like you, like me, myself. And they say it takes a village to raise a child. And what I came to understand is, due to drugs or jail or whatever circumstances, in some opportunities, everyone is not really even getting raised. They have to start learning how to survive at a young age. And oftentimes, when one learns to survive at a young age, opposed to growing up in a village and seeing everyone as friends or someone that can help you, you start preying upon them. And like you said, if one is not getting love from the village, it'll cause them to burn it down or destroy it in order to save themselves. And I'll park my plane right there, Brother Earth. Peace and love, family.
Peace and love to you, Brother Earth. Paul, we have a few people that it seems like our conversation today is really exciting, and we have a few other, of course, my team members, Lavender and Steven and Stella, want to share their perspectives. And I also see Michelle, and I see my wonderful friend here, Duchess Meadows. Lavender, we'll come to you. I saw your comment on YouTube, but I want to just give you space to speak. Share your perspectives on this conversation and today's proverb.
Hi, Simon. Hi, everyone. My name is Lavender. Honored to listen to Mr. Palladino today. And sometimes you feel like you know some things, but then this is so new to me. And with Color Light, and I feel like you need to come back on the show and tell us more. We'd like to learn more. my thoughts about today's proverb. Cabs and brother have said everything I'd like to say about today's proverb, and also Simon and Tom uh, highlighted the importance of family. And my thoughts are, when we embrace each other, we avoid bad things from happening, or people who are neglected will definitely find a way of causing so much harm. I'm sure some of us here have had or experienced losses in family whereby someone uh, harms themselves. I can't imagine the pain when we lose family through suicide, cases like suicide. It always ends up that the family suffers more than the person realized. Sometimes let's remind the people around us, the people we care about, that we care about them. Let's make it um, something that we do effortlessly. Just like saying good morning, we remind our loved ones that we love and care about them. There is not usual in African families, but uh, we learn every day, and we can always adjust to new things or new ways of doing things. Thank you so much, Simon, for the time to speak.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lavender. Let's move on swiftly to Stephen. Share your thoughts with us, please. Okay, it seems Stephen is away from his microphone, so we'll go to Michelle. Michelle, how are you doing today? And where are you joining us from? Share your perspectives with us, please. Okay, we will keep moving on. We will go to Stella. Stella, how are you doing? Share with us your thoughts on the proverb and on the conversation with Tom.
Hello, Simon. Hello, everyone. This is Stella from Kenya. And before I share my thoughts today, I would just like to quickly reset the room. If you're new to this room, this is the African Father in America podcast hosted by Simon Javan Okello every Monday to Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Or if you're in East Africa, it's 5 p.m. every Monday to Friday. Every day we come here and talk about African proverbs and the lessons we can learn from them. Then we share our stories. And Simon always shares some 3 nuggets of wisdom in each episode. So it's a room you don't want to miss. And tomorrow we have a special proverb that I would also encourage you to make sure you come to the room tomorrow, and you can turn on your notifications so that you don't miss the room. Otherwise, so glad that Tom joined us today, and if I got him right, I think at some point he was talking about placing a photograph in. Simon, you'll help me if I did get it
You
correctly,
did, you
because I think
did.
I can.
You did get it exactly correct. Keep going.
Yeah, so over here we've been joking about it, like people can say umewekwa kwa chupa, and meaning you've been put in a glass, something like that, because we've always had that belief that someone takes your photograph and then puts it in a glass, and then they can do black magic on you. So bad things can happen to you. So we've always associated it with bad things. But I think now that I heard you speak, then and you've told us how you've studied this and how it's something that people can learn about and explore, then I'm totally amazed. And now I believe that learning is very important so that you get to know the meaning of different stuff. And this is something that I definitely want to learn about. So I'll get in touch with you, Tom. I hope you have a website where we can get more information.
We do,
On
and
today's
we do. That's one of my goals. I want to reach out and help the people around the world. A lot of our work is free, pro bono. I want to reach out to the people of Africa. We've been working with various HIV clinics in Africa, and after we work with people, after we receive photographs of people from an HIV clinic, they no longer have any viral load for HIV. So I want to
wow.
reach out to the people
And this is
of
probably-
Africa and to help.
Okay, thank you so much. So my thoughts on this proverb is that I think one thing I've learned so far since I started joining the conversation on African proverbs is that African proverbs can take away hopelessness because they are filled with wisdom, they are filled with wise words, and they are soothing. So they can take you from a bad place, especially mentally. Otherwise, thank you, and I'm done speaking.
Excellent. Thank you, Stella. Yesterday, Lavender and I were talking about a friend who was very sick and hospitalized for a long time, and he lost a lot of weight. And apparently, what he explained to Lavender was that he had been made sick through energy that came from sound, and so there is there is, these things are so complex. We are living in the age of social media, where one of the expectations is for you to have a social media profile, a picture, and now I'm learning that picture can be used to do good to you and to do bad to you, and to do it's that's why it's a profile picture. It's more deeper than just you being visible there. That's part of what is coming up for me right now. But I want to go to our last guest on the stage, Duchess Meadows. Thank you again for your continued support. How are you? And what are your thoughts in regards to this conversation with Tom and the proverb from Ethiopia that is guiding our conversation today?
Good morning, Simon. Good morning to the room. I was not here to hear Mr. Palladino speak, but I will be watching the replay on YouTube just because from the comments of the other people here on the stage, I'm very interested to learn more. As far as the proverb today, the child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. For me, this proverb speaks to the importance of community, as well as I'm trying to figure out how to word it. It's just essentially when you don't give a child what they need, if you don't give them their essential needs, not just physically, but emotionally, that adult will take what they feel is rightfully theirs. So I do feel like it is a lesson in community from the standpoint of it is very important how we treat each other, especially children. And I will yield.
Thank you. I deeply appreciate that. As you are speaking, I was just reminded of a documentary I watched some time back of the stories of a lot of Somali young people who are living in Europe. Their parents migrated from Somalia to Europe in order to escape the war in Somalia. But now there is a trend where a lot of Somali youths are leaving Europe and are going back to Somalia, not to do good there, but of course, to escape because they're not embraced by the European culture, and their parents are also in a situation where they can't provide the support that these young people need, but they are going back to join Al-Shabaab so that they can cause greater damage to the entire world, and it's such an accurate depiction of what this proverb is speaking about. I'm also a father of 3 girls, and a lot of the time, even last night, one of my daughters really wanted this thing that she was really enjoying playing with. It was bedtime. She had to go to bed, and I had to take away the toy. And at the same time, she was determined to continue playing and to continue having her freedom. So she was literally willing to die in order to continue playing. There was nothing that was going to get in her way, even me, myself, So I just hope and pray that we find great ways of embracing our young ones, no matter what their situation is, meet them at their point of need and spend more time with them, embrace them like this proverb is saying. Now, Tom, what did you hear from our guests? And many of us were asking that you share with us also how we can stay connected with you and how we can take advantage of this incredible invention and practice that you have. So speak to us about, what people say that moved you, and also how we can stay connected with you.
You have an engaged audience. Thank you, everyone. What are we trying to impart today? That technology, when used appropriately, can help people. I want to do that. So reach out to me. Our website is scalarlight.com, SCALAR light.com, scalarlight.com. We are providing 15 days of free scalar energy sessions for anybody in the world. You visit the website and you're going to email us your photograph. We will treat everybody in the world for free. Now, if you have friends throughout the world, United States, Canada, Africa, Europe, tell them about our website and tell them to visit the website and upload their photograph. We'll treat them for free, and God will provide his healing. So this is my way of introducing this to the world. Mind you, if I can treat one person, I can treat a group of people by way of photographs. Today in my laboratory, I'm treating 500,000 photographs. I have 500,000 people that have sent me photographs from around the world. I have group photographs. So consider what I'm saying. This is a way to provide healing for the nations. Today, I'm working with 500,000 people by way of their photograph. This is the new science of scalar energy.
Thank you, Tom. Now, one last question. As I told you, I've lived in Africa and I've seen a lot of healers, much like you. And a lot of them, after they've healed so many people, they also need to be healed, Some of them actually drop down out of exhaustion, after they've seen so many patients, even doctors. If you remember, during the pandemic, doctors needed other doctors to take care of them. Yes. How do you take care of yourself? Because I see that you're calm and collected throughout this conversation. How do you take care of yourself after healing all these wonderful human beings?
I'm going to make this very clear. I don't heal. Jesus is the healer. Jesus is the healer. And this process is so simple. It's not physically taxing. It doesn't require a physical effort, because energy can be used anywhere in the world. And we can, if you will, take that energy, and that God's energy, God's light, will produce the healing. So I'm never exhausted. To the contrary, I'm vibrant. This is easy because it's not medical science. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I am a scalar energy researcher. What do I need help with? Well, just to keep at it, to persevere. That's the key.
Excellent. Last question. Would you be open to meeting similar people in Africa if I created an opportunity for you to visit? I actually I'm a documentary film producer, and maybe 9 years ago, I took a group of people from Seattle to Kenya, where I come from, and they were creating a documentary about shapeshifters. So they had documented shapeshifters in the in North America, and they were very keen on documenting shapeshifters in Africa. And so I was able to use my network in Africa to get them to interview some, a lot of people that I've always been fascinated by, in my tribe, and I would love to look into getting you there so that you can meet people who do similar work, and you can also engage with people there as well. But
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes, let's go. What are we waiting for? Yes, right away.
That's excellent. That's excellent. I feel that this kind of global intercontinental connection, and especially with people who have not been recognized for the work that they do, and people who are even afraid of doing the work that they do, I would love to, to one day interview a healer who is doing similar work from my tribe, the way I did with you today. But they're even afraid of being on camera and having such conversations. And my dream is, once they engage with someone like you and they understand the value of what they are doing, they can gain the confidence to speak up and be able to be known, be able to have a website, be able to really scale what they do, So I feel like for me, that's what is exciting me about our conversation today. And I really want to encourage you to continue on, continue doing what you're doing, continue being accessible to people like us, so that we can engage more. I really thank you. Do you have any final comments before we wrap up?
This is a grassroots effort, and your audience seems to be engaged. Your audience seems to be of that ilk. Let's work together. Go to the website, scalarlight.com. Read about my work. Look at the testimonies. Read the testimonies, and then contact me. And if you have connections around the world, let's start working together. I want a network. Let's do it.
Excellent. You will definitely hear from me. I'm grateful, and I would definitely love to work together as well. I want to thank everyone who joined us on YouTube. I see you all, and I want you to go back after this show and comment on the video that is on my channel. My channel is at Okello Javan. That's also my social media channel on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. So make sure you engage with our content on those other platforms. To everyone who is actually live here with us on Clubhouse, thank you so much. We will see you tomorrow, like Stella said, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday to Friday. That's 5 p.m. East African Time. Thank you all. I see you, Robert, by the way. I just wanted to give you a quick shout out, and I see Agie Kum and Byron and Aguambo, Dera and Rocky, who is joining us from Singapore. Thank you again so much. You have a beautiful day. Thank you, Tom. Have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you, son.
African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.